According to the United Nations World Habitat, Kenya's capital Nairobi has some of the most dense, unsanitary and insecure slums in the world. It is also estimated that almost half of the city's population live in these slums and squatter settlements where people struggle to eke out a living every day. It therefore goes without saying that legal aid and access to justice to them is nothing more than a piped dream. This has led to their massive human rights abuse orchestrated by their ignorance and the inaccessibility of legal services. It is for this reason that Kituo Sheria, the Center for Legal Empowerment, which is a non-governmental organization, has taken it upon itself to initiate the justice centers in these areas throughout the country. On the 9th of March 2012, Kituo Sheria was at it again. This time round in Korogocho, Kariobangi, which is one of Nairobi's oldest and expansive slum settlements, where another justice center was launched. The chief guest, who was none other than the country's Chief Justice Dr. Willy Mutunga, a one-time inhabitant of the area, noted that to actually advocate for human rights at the grassroots level, one has to directly engage with the people in those particular locations. For this, he encouraged Kituo to work with paralegals at the Justice Center in order to connect with everybody.
If you have a message as a human rights activist, you must be a human rights missionary. So you stay where the people are. Because if you have a message and then you just come, you stay for one day and you go, your message dies. That's why St. John's Church is here. And it's very, very important that we actually build a bridge between Priscilla and the Tom, okay, so that we can have a movement, a human rights movement that connects the grassroots and also the middle class, middle class groups. So
he pointed out that paralegals are key in forming community-based justice centers. Dr. Willy urged them to also be the key participants in forming movements which will be formed to implement.
Paralegals have been very key in forming community-based organizations, right? I now expect paralegals also to be key to movements that will be formed to implement the Constitution. Kwa hiyo tukiwa na muungano wa kupigania haki hizo mashinani itakuwa jambo la maana. Nao paralegals afadhali waanzishe hiyo miradi.
Also gracing the occasion was the German ambassador to Kenya, Miss Margit Helwig Boetes, who mentioned that being in Korogocho was important to her, for the German Development Corporation supports various development initiatives in the area. She went on to thank the Chief Justice and Kituo for their efforts in helping the locals access justice, which in turn will improve their living conditions.
The German government, German Development Corporation, and me personally, we try to support his office. We also work with Kituo Sheria, who is also doing a great job. And I think we all have the same interest, and this is improve the living conditions for people in Kenya. I know you have a lot of challenges on criminal activities and crime in Korogocho. I think we've seen this just yesterday. So there's a lot of need to improve the security situation. But I think without access to justice, all this will not really work. And not least since the post-election violence 2008, we all know that it's important to take people to justice, not only on the top level, but also at the grassroots level. So justice is something very important, including reconciliation and peace. And all the three things put together, I think it's really necessary to have the right environment for the next election.
Also in attendance was the Executive Director Kituo Sheria, Ms. Priscilla Nyokabi, who, referring to the new constitution, pointed out to the people on their rights and how they should be handled if arrested. She said that paralegals and the people should make efforts to ensure that the proposals forwarded by Kituo in regards to the pending bills should be included when the bills are passed in Parliament.
Katiba inasema wakati umeshikwa na polisi, baada ya masaa 24 ufikishwe wapi? Baada ya masaa mangapi ufikishwe? Na wakati umefikishwa kotini, uwe na fursa ya kuitisha bail ama bond. Sawa sawa? Kuna mali hapo pameongea kuhusu extrajudicial killing. Sasa wakati tunasoma katiba, tunasema kwamba haki ambazo zimeandikwa kwa hii katiba zitekelezwe. Na haki ambayo inaweza kutekelezwa kwa haraka na kwa dharura ni haki kama hiyo ya arrest. Na wakati sheria ya mashamba inapitishwa land bill, kule kituo cha sheria tumekuwa tunasema kwamba mambo ya eviction iangaliwe kwa hiyo masheria ya shamba. Kwamba kama sasa kutakuwa na eviction, kuwe na notice ya miezi 3 na kuwe na court order, na kwamba wale ambao wanaenda kuwa evicted waweze kuelezwa ni kwa nini wanatolewa kwa mashamba yao. Tunataka nyinyi kama watu wa Korogocho mtusaidie ili hiyo proposal iingie kwa sheria. Sawa sawa? Maana sisi tukiwa kituo tunaweza kufanya proposal, tukapatia wabunge na tukapatia komiti ya Honorable Mutaba Musimi, lakini msipotia nguvu proposal kama zile, unapata kuona kwamba wakati sheria inapita zile proposal haziko. Paralegal hawa wamejua kuandika petition, wamejua kuwakilisha watu wa Korogocho. Wakikaa chini, mambo ambayo inawasumbua na mambo ya petition pia iko kwa katiba. Petition kama hiyo na watu wako mnaandika, mnasema kwamba eviction pia iangaliwe kwa masheria ya nini? Ya mambo ya mashamba.
She went on to encourage everybody to read the Constitution and to ensure that it is actually implemented.
Na tukubali kusoma katiba, tukubali kujitolea kwamba katiba hii itekelezwe. Na sisi kituo tutafanya kazi na Justice Center ambayo tutaiunda leo ama tutailaunch leo. Hiyo Justice Center iimarishe haki za watu wa Korogocho, na tuzidi kusoma, tuzidi kuelewa katiba, sheria ambazo zinapita, tuzidi kuangalia kwamba sheria zile pia zinatekeleza katiba yetu. Alafu watu wa Justice Center wakubali kwamba sasa katika katiba hii mpya sio lazima uwe na wakili ili uweze kwenda kotini.
It is quite evident that these centers, which will host paralegals who intend to offer free legal guidance to the residents of Korogocho, will go a long way in providing justice where it is needed most, as this will decentralize legal aid services, which for a long time has continued to be inaccessible to the locals.